Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Now, Wildlands is an organization that contributes greatly towards conservation. One way in which they do this is through the Old Mutual Wild Series, a collection of endurance events that allows participants to run or cycle in the natural habitat of a particular endangered species. Wild Series trail running event will be taking place at the Kruger National Park between June the 18th and 19th in our Durban studios. We are joined by Buyisile Makhoba, who is the marketing manager at Wildlands, to give us more insight. Buyisile, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Sam, and good morning to the viewers.
Okay, so before we talk about the Wild Series trail run, I just want you to educate us a little bit. A lot of people for the first time will hear about Wildlands. What is it? What is this project all about?
Okay, Wildlands is a leading environmental non-profit organization, and really we are working at the heart of uplifting poor communities, reviving ecosystems and conserving our nature. So we have around the country projects, mainly some people will know them as treepreneurs, and these are women and that work in communities that grow indigenous trees, and then they barter these with us for livelihood support items. Similarly, we have people that we call wastepreneurs, and they then collect recyclable waste and they barter this with us for livelihood support items.
Okay, so we've got the Old Mutual Wild Series trail running. What is that about? How did you incorporate running in nature and turn it into a competitive event?
The Old Mutual Wild Series are extremely exciting because these events happen in protected game reserves where people would not be able to run. So these events raise funds for conservation. So with every person that enters these events, they are able to donate to our projects where we work in these areas. For instance, like how you mentioned that we have got the Kruger to Canyon challenge happening on the 17th to the 19th of sorry about that.
Yeah.
To the 19th of June. And this happens in Hoedspruit, in a place called Campus Rus in Mpumalanga.
Yeah.
So with every entrant there, we will be donating towards our projects in the Kruger to Canyons Biospheres, who is our partner in that area.
Yeah, I know the Hoedspruit area quite well. It's very pretty. There's about some of the issues that we're dealing with are the endangered species, and you've mentioned that in this case it'll be wild dogs. Talk to me more about it. About 450 of them in captivity, as far as I understand, and how they're safeguarded.
Yes, that's true. Actually, just to correct you there, Sam, for the Kruger to Canyons Biospheres, we are protecting the Big Five,
okay,
as well as the conservation of the area of the Kruger. So we only do the wild dog for the mountain biking event, which is in Mfolozi, which happens in the Hluhluwe Game Park.
Are you finding with combining these two elements that we are educating the runners, educating those that enjoy the outdoors? Have you found a way to make sure that they understand it's more than just about running, and it's more than just about coming into an environment and then leaving, that environment has an impact on you?
Yes, definitely. Old Mutual focuses their efforts when this in sponsoring these events that people do responsible business, and people are able to get outdoors, get into the great outdoors, and do great things. So they're running for more than just themselves, because they're able to run for the species that are endangered, the various species that we protect. So these events are definitely teaching people more about the environment. They're getting more in touch with the environment by actually being there. So you're able to just literally almost lose yourself by running in the wild, enjoying the environment, and also knowing in the back of your mind that you're actually contributing towards making a more sustainable future for future generations.
Okay, I don't want to sound ignorant, but when you say running in the wild and natural habitats and protecting Big Five, if you've never been part of any of these events, it's pretty safe, isn't it? You're not going to be chased by one of the Big Five.
Oh no, definitely not. We actually have rangers en route where they'll be looking out, obviously, to make sure that the runners are safe at all times. I mean, the safety of the runners is obviously our priority at all times.
You talked
so
about
nobody needs to actually be worried.
Okay, you talked about just kind of the scope of the Wildlands project, and the fact that you've got some relationships with women that you've, what they call them, tree entrepreneurs, waste entrepreneurs. What is the scope of the Wildlands project nationally?
Nationally, we've got about over 8,000 tree and wastepreneurs around the country, and the kind of areas that we focus in, we've got projects going on in the Western Cape, we've got projects going on in the Eastern Cape. The bulk of our projects happen in KZN because that's where we're really based, but we've also got projects up in Gauteng as well as Mpumalanga. So I would say our footprint is pretty wide. We're able to touch lives and change lives of ordinary South Africans and the more disadvantaged South Africans around the country.
Okay, we're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining us from our Durban studio. It's Buyisile Makhoba, who is the marketing manager for the Wildlands project, talking on behalf of that run that's happening in Old Mutual. If you want to find out more, you can Google details. We'll take an ad break. Don't go anywhere.